Adverb phrases. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to define an adverb phrase, identify the adverb phrase in a given sentence.
Zizi, guess what? Fleck, you gave me a start. What has happened? First prize, school's running race, prize distribution in the evening. Sports captain congratulated, shaking my hand. Fleck, slow down. I can't understand anything. Stop talking in phrases and tell me exactly what happened. But I'm not talking in phrases. I'm talking in English. I was telling you that I won first prize in my school's running race. I ran faster than all the boys. The prize distribution ceremony will be held in the evening. Our sports captain congratulated me by shaking my hand. Really, Fleck? Oh, that's great! Congratulations! But Zizi, what did you mean before when you asked me not to talk in phrases? Oh, Fleck, don't you remember what phrases are? I remember. Phrases are groups of words that have no subject and no predicate, and they make no sense on their own. Oh, so that's what you meant. That's right. And by the way, you were using adverb phrases. Adverb phrases? What are those?
Before we look into adverb phrases, let's revise adverbs and phrases first. Adverbs are words that tell us more about verbs. They tell us how, when, or where the action of the verb takes place. Simply, they are called verb helpers. For instance, in the sentence, Fleck talked hurriedly. Hurriedly is an adverb that tells us more about the verb talked. Now, let us define phrases. A phrase is a group of words that does not have a subject and a predicate and does not make sense by itself. It depends on other words to form a meaningful sentence. For example, let's look at the sentence, Fleck won the first prize in the running race. In this sentence, in the running race is the phrase. This group of words has no subject and predicate and makes no sense on its own. Now, let's move on to learn adverb phrases. When a phrase tells us something more about the action word in the sentence or describes the verb in a sentence, it is called an adverb phrase. So, a phrase which does the work of an adverb in a sentence is known as an adverb phrase. Let's look at some examples of adverb phrases. In these sentences, the adverb phrases are in the school's running race, in the evening, by shaking his hand. Let's look at the first sentence. Fleck won first prize in the school's running race. Here, in the school's running race is the adverb phrase that tells us more about the verb won. The adverb phrase in the school's running race tells us where Fleck won. When an adverb phrase gives us information about the place, where the action happens, it is an adverb phrase of place. An adverb phrase of place answers the question, where? Let's look at the second sentence. The prize distribution ceremony will be held in the evening. Here, in the evening is the adverb phrase that tells us more about the verb will be held. The adverb phrase in the evening tells us about the time when the ceremony will be held. When an adverb phrase gives us information about the time when the action happens, it is an adverb phrase of time. An adverb phrase of time answers the question, when? Let's look at the third sentence. The sports captain congratulated Fleck by shaking his hand. Here, by shaking his hand is the adverb phrase that tells us more about the verb congratulated. The adverb phrase by shaking his hand tells us how or the manner in which the sports captain congratulated Fleck. When an adverb phrase gives us information about the manner in which the action happens, it is an adverb phrase of manner. An adverb phrase of manner answers the question, how? In the same way, you can try and figure out adverb phrases and their types in sentences.
Zizi, look at this! I got a trophy for coming first in the race. Wow, Fleck! It's so big and shiny. Your parents must be so proud of you. Now, let's go and celebrate with some ice cream. Sure, I'm so happy. Yeah. Before we go get some ice cream, let's revise all the points we have learned in this lesson on adverb phrases. Adverbs are words that tell us more about verbs. They tell us how, when, or where the action of the verb takes place. They are verb helpers. A phrase is a group of words that does not have a subject and a predicate and does not make sense by itself. It depends on other words to form a meaningful sentence. An adverb phrase is a phrase or group of words which does the work of an adverb in a sentence. It tells us something more about the action word or describes the verb in a sentence. An adverb phrase of place tells us where the action has happened. An adverb phrase of manner tells us how the action has happened. An adverb phrase of time tells us when the action has happened.